Welcome to the Rising Consciousness Show, 20 minutes of soulful insights and powerful tools to elevate your life experience and create with higher clarity, intention, and vision. I'm Tara Antler, intuitive healer and soul coach.
And I'm King Gabriel, spiritual teacher and practitioner. And we are the co-founders of Ascension Academy of Light,
a global center for spiritual growth, intuitive healing, and soul alignment.
Get ready to blast off.
All right. I'm so grateful to be here with you for another episode of Rising Consciousness. Today, I have a really beautiful soul sister guest in house with us. I am so excited to have this conversation because I feel like we were talking before we hit record, and we're both excited because it's Christmas time and it's the holidays. And right after this, we're going to jump into Christmas gingerbreads and decorating and gift wrapping. So we're in this Christmas buzz, and I'm hoping you all can feel the energy coming off of us as we have this really beautiful, high-powered, intuitive conversation. And I want to introduce you to Gen Stoney. Welcome, Jen, I'm so happy that you're here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I adore you, Tara, and this is going to be so fun. So thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much. We're so grateful to have you. Gabriel says hi as well. And I want to tell everybody a little bit about you, and then we're going to dive on in. Okay. Awesome. So Gen Stoney, she is a sober, unapologetic woman, a wife, a mom, and an entrepreneur. I got to add that in because she is a powerhouse entrepreneur. Women come to her feeling really frustrated about sobriety and sexuality. Women leave after they worked with her. They leave feeling really empowered, irresistible, unapologetic, their sexy goddess self, feeling super magnetized by life and being in love with life, I would also add, and really creating something that feels so beautiful and a life of their dreams. Jen has been coaching women and has been sober from drugs and alcohol for over 14 years. Celebrating you, Jen. That's a huge accomplishment. Jen is the creator and founder of Gen Stoney Coaching, the Sexy Goddess Inner Circle, and the Unapologetic Woman Collective. She graduated with honors with her bachelor's degree in psychology and a minor in nutrition. She is a certified life coach, EFT practitioner, meditation guide, and chakra healer. I did not know that. That's exciting and awesome. I'm so excited to dive in a second. Jen is a speaker, a #1 international best-selling author, and has been featured as a regular guest expert on Fox and CW in Miami and Austin, Texas. And she's been featured on the top 100 international women globally by, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this correctly, Hoinzer Group. Yeah. I think, yes. And she is really standing for being unapologetically sober and radiant so that you can have the most romantic, fun, energized life possible. So I am so excited to be here with you, Jen. There's some stuff on here I did not know.
Well, look at that. I love it. We keep getting to know each other better and better. How fun.
Right, it is. And Jen and I met actually through a mutual, we were in a business coaching program together, and then we ended up in another business coaching incubator together. And that's where I feel like Jen and I really got to know each other more as we were moving through different business expansion points in our life. And I remember at one point I was sitting up late at night and I had a client, and we've been up leveling our business and our world. And I've been working with clients for a really long time, 20 years, and jumping back into seeing clients full on one-on-one. I haven't done it in a long time. So I'm like, gosh, like what is the going rate out there now? I don't even know how do we place the rate on all this, right? And I just remember feeling this intuitive pull to reach out to Jen. And I said, I got a question for you. And we started this really beautiful back and forth conversation. And she was so supportive and so kind and so generous with her time. And I just love you, Jen. You're such a bright light on this planet. And I know that you're making beautiful waves in the world of women empowerment and not being afraid to stand as their full self.
Thank you so much, Tara. And those conversations that we had, I just remember feeling the chills, having so much fun. I was so energized. And it was like late at night. And I remember my husband being like, what are you doing? I was like, oh my God, I'm having the best conversation right now.
I love it. Those are the best conversations, the ones that just happen to land, right? And that's the
Yes.
cool thing I find when you start to lead life in this way where you're following intuition and you're really leading with heart. You just show up. This is what Jen and I were talking about just before we hit record too, is just being willing to show up and serve. And so can you speak into that a little bit in terms of how you work with clients and how this whole journey really started for you?
Yeah. Well, how I work with them, it's beautiful, right? Because the journey started from me hitting a rock bottom more than once in my life. And so it was choosing to not give up, because if we do not give up, we will not fail. And it was really, I feel that I'm one of the privileged ones. I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm one of the blessed ones. I mean, yes, I've done the work. Yes, I've shown up, but statistically speaking, I should be dead if you look at my story. And so to me, it's such an honor to be able to be alive and to be able to be here to shine my light bright and to let women know like what is possible. And so, today I get to work with women online in on Facebook groups. There's a woman who reached out to me who was like, I don't even, it's so beautiful. I'm sure you know this, Tara, when people are like, man, this one story, like it changed my life. And like that's why I'm here today. So,
Yeah.
yes, getting to work with women one-on-one, it's beautiful. Group programs is wonderful, but having women reach out and read that one post or listen to that one live and be like, this is exactly what I needed. Thank you. That is
Yeah.
such a privilege.
And it takes courage to be able to walk that sort of a path, right? Because especially when it comes to recovery of any sort, at least this is what I've seen in my journey, there's always a lot of shame and guilt that comes with that. And being able to move oneself through that to say, you know what? I'm going to rise to the occasion. And this is what I heard. I actually wrote it down was you really rose to the occasion to say, okay, I'm choosing life.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to take whatever this hardship was and I'm going to do something with it so that I can make an impact and serve and help other people along the way, right?
Yeah. It was like I took that tiny morsel of hope,
Mhm.
and I was like, I'm just going to feed into this and give my power and energy to this. And I don't know how, but
Yeah.
I know that I'm supported with the highest power in the universe. The same power that parted the Red Sea is within me
Mhm.
and going to help me. And I don't know how, but I know that if I just keep moving forward and do not pick up a drug or a drink and continue to
Mhm.
look for that love and light, I will
Mhm.
find it.
This is so powerful. And I think that I've seen this a lot in the last, especially over the last 3 years. A lot of people have, I think because the world has been turned upside down and inside out, and it's had people face a lot of their internal quotation mark demons, right? Like a lot of internal shadow work has been brought to the surface. And I find when people don't know how to deal with that, sometimes they'll turn to the things that are the coping mechanisms, right?
Mhm.
And can you speak into that a little bit? Because I know we have some listeners in our community who have been moving through things of that nature too, and how to gracefully start to move yourself through where you can release the guilt and any shame about it and start to rise again. Like you said, hope, right? Really anchoring into
Yes.
something that pulls you through.
Yes. For me, I truly believe in finding that sisterhood circle. And
Hmm.
whatever dynamic that looks like, that's crucial, but also knowing that the power lies within you. You can
Hmm.
hire the best mentors, the most amazing leaders and inspirational people, but they're not going to do the work for you. And when I feel that when we look to numb out, escape, run, that isn't like a lot of people, and I think that this has really come up in the last few years, is a lot of people always thought that meant drugs and alcohol, but it really doesn't. I mean, it does, don't get me wrong, but it also means people numb out with controlling people, with people pleasing, with
Yeah.
saying yes to everyone else, right? It also, I feel, is that they numb out with food, with shopping, with I'm gonna, and you and I both like the people who it's like, I'm gonna buy all the self-help books, all the programs, but I'm not gonna put it into action because I'm more addicted to the chaos and the struggle, and feeling good and welcoming in more love
Yeah.
feels uncomfortable because my nervous system has never felt that type of support. So, like, what
Yeah.
I like to tell my clients is, have you ever seen a surgeon that graduated from Harvard Medical School leave medical school and go, I'm going to work at McDonald's?
Right.
Never, right? So like we have all the
Hmm.
resources. It's, are we going to choose to reintegrate our nervous system to feel comfortable with more love and more happiness?
Yeah.
And to do that, I feel like the energetic work is a huge help, right? Like EFT tapping,
Hmm.
meditation, and
Hmm.
truly learning that you have all the answers within you, and your intuition is
Absolutely.
key.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you do energy work with people too, because I feel like that's a missing piece. I hear this from a lot of people, clients that have come in that have done the traditional route of therapy. And I think everything has its place. It's not, I'm not knocking anything. It's just everything has its place. Everything's a stepping stone. And what happens is a lot of times people will come, and I'm sure you've probably seen this too, and I'd love for you to speak into it, is people will come and they've had that traditional therapy path, and yet they still find themselves looping back into, when people go to the meetings and they stand up and they say, I am and that's such a powerful statement, right? Like, I am. And I'm like, you want to be so mindful as to what you're claiming. What are you? I am a recovering. I'm like, don't say that. Stop saying that, right? Because there's such power in words and in energy. And I'm sure, and I'd love for you to speak into this, is the energy work component. Have you seen for yourself and with clients being a huge expansion, next level transformation for people?
100%. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And I love that you tapped on, because 12 years of my recovery is in the 12 steps community,
Right. Most
which,
people. Hmm.
yes, which it gave me the gifts that it gave me working in that capacity and that community are life-changing, and I'll forever be grateful. Like, it was beautiful.
Hmm.
But
Absolutely.
there was a point in my time where I was like, I no longer feel aligned to this. And
Hmm.
if anyone's listening, I really want to give you the permission. I don't think you need the permission, but I want you to give you the permission to play and to
Hmm.
own what works for you. What is it that works for you? So much we feel that, oh, well, this is what works, I have to do it. If I don't do it, I'm going to die, or I'm going to drink. And it's like, that's not serving your highest self,
Hmm.
and so to me, that is a huge part, is the I am, right? And
Hmm.
shifting from the I am to I feel. So if there is this point, instead of being like I am depressed, to say I feel depressed. There's a
Absolutely.
huge shift when we do that. But the
Hmm.
energetic work, to me, a lot of women will come to me and be like, should I stay or should I go? Where, for romance, for love, working on sexual trauma. And my number one answer is, well, have you prayed on this? What are you feeling intuitively? And they're like, wait, you're not going to
Hmm.
tell me. I'm like, no, that wouldn't
Hmm.
serve you. To me, it's bringing people back home to themselves so that they can gain such confidence and clarity within their intuition, so that they can
Hmm.
then walk this world as a powerful woman that they were sent here to be.
Absolutely. Ooh, it just got chills up and down my spine. 100%, because that's it, right? And you and I were sharing this before we hit record too, that I feel like there's a turning point that's happening on the planet right now where people are really starting to reclaim their power in every which way, whether it be in the medical world, whether it be in education, whether it be in the coaching world, wherever it is, people are really starting to claim their own power again, to say, oh, okay, so no longer will it be, I go to you, you tell me what to do. And maybe there are some times where we need the building blocks, right? The building
Mhm.
blocks of saying, yes, if you follow this, if you do this,
Yes.
and let me help you feel empowered within yourself, because then it just becomes another crutch.
Yes.
Right? Where it's another thing, like, what if I don't have, and I joke about this all the time with our community. I'm like, what happens if one day you're traveling? And I know this because I traveled all around
Yeah.
the world, and you don't have your crystals with you. Oh my God, I can't do a crystal healing session. Or you're like, oh, I don't have my biomat with me. Oh my God, I'm screwed. And that's not the case. You're gonna be okay. You're the source of your healing, right? And I heard that in what you just said right now is
Mhm.
helping women get back to that. I have the power. I have the source of healing within me, and you're helping them see that, feel that, experience that, and reclaim their power again, which is what it really is going to help them fully heal from any of that other stuff. that they've been
Yes.
moving through.
Oh, I love that. And isn't, when I first started doing this work about 14 years ago, I gotta say one of the biggest things was like, okay, so I need these crystals. So I have to have them with me. And I was like, wait a second, I'm now being controlling in this. I'm now thinking that an outside source is gonna, and I'm like, I
Right?
don't like this. And so it's like,
Hmm.
does it serve a purpose? Yes. Are those tools amazing? Yes. But it's
Yes.
truly harnessing how powerful and divine we
Hmm.
are within, and when we ignite that, right, it's I help women release the codependency, so why would I try to
Exactly.
create that
Trade one for the
codependent,
other.
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's exactly it. No, I love that so much. And I always say to our clients too, I'm like, you are so powerful. And I'll look at them and I'm like, no, I need you to hear this. Like, I need you to really hear you are so powerful. And sometimes we don't really get that because how many times have we been told during our lives that we're not that? Right?
Yeah.
You're not good enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not smart enough. You haven't done that well enough. Go back to the drawing board. Oh, you got a D or a C or a B or you failed. Right. And it's like ongoing. And so I
Mhm.
think this is a huge, powerful conversation to have right now. And also the work that you're doing in the world in helping people reclaim their power.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Because
Yes.
that's where they're really going to feel like they don't have to trade in one thing for another thing.
Mhm.
They're saying, okay, I am the source of it. And I feel we have conversations like that with the kids all the time because, it's so simple to say, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. And I'm like, cancel, delete that. I feel hungry, right? And, it's like
Yes.
the simplest little
Yes.
flips, right? So I love that you brought that forward too. I wrote that down because I think that that's a really huge discerning and flip point for people so that they realize I feel this way. I am not necessarily those emotions. I feel those emotions.
Yes, and don't you I remember Wayne Dyer, he spoke about how powerful, well, lots of leaders have, how powerful the I am statement is. And I'll never
Mhm.
forget waking up to that 11 years ago and being like, oh, wow. As
Mhm.
a woman who I was raised in a very Catholic, Italian Catholic family and went to Catholic school, and it's learning that the source is not outside of you, and
Mhm.
learning that I am, it is truly you claiming that and you owning
Mhm.
it. And I raise my kids in a different modality and a different aspect, but I feel that it's so beautiful to truly allow children. I love how you bring your kids into the work. I always, I'll never forget when I first saw you online in 2019, and I was like, man, this woman is awesome. Anyone who's breastfeeding on camera with a kid while teaching like a powerful spiritual course. And I was like, I don't want to get off. Because I love that I'm seeing a real person do life and teach
Yeah.
in such a potent way. And it's just
Yeah.
so beautiful.
No, thank you for that. Yeah, it was one of those things where I'm like, I can't, this is a part of my life. This is a
Right.
part of what's happening right now. I can't hide that. I can't keep that. And I'm like, I'm either gonna show up for my, big spiritual purpose or not. Like what are my options? Right. So it
Yeah.
was bring the
Yeah.
babies in, and let's do this, right?
Yes. Yes. I
And
love
I
it.
love that. Well, I love that you brought that forward because what question popped in my mind was, do you find everything that you know now and what you've learned and practiced and working with clients, you must find then that your own parenting style and how you support your children, because I know you have a family as well, it probably feels very different than anything maybe you've experienced or have seen out there.
I love that you asked this because, yeah, when I first had my son Raymond, I was the breadwinner.
Mm-hmm.
The house is in the name, the cars, all the stuff's in my name. And I was working like 60 hours a week while coaching 9 women. And on Sundays, I would bring
Wow.
my son, yeah, yeah, I would bring my son Raymond to church, Catholic church. And during
Mm-hmm.
the homily, Tara, you would laugh if you saw this. I would be whispering in his ears, you can marry whoever you want. You can do whatever. Like, and I would just be like,
Oh,
and then we would get in
oh,
the car and I would have this like breakdown. And I did this for almost 4 years. And so I came
wow.
to a realization from doing this work. It allowed me to see that, wait a second, I'm going to this church not because I agree or align. I'm doing this because I feel that if I don't do this, I won't be included and loved by my family.
Oh, wow. That's
And
huge.
that changed my parenting hugely. And so it's like,
Mhm.
so often we see these people who have it together and, it's those Instagram photos. And it's like, no, like I'm doing this work too. This work doesn't end. And so it's beautiful
Mhm.
because I realized I was like, oh, I'm afraid that I won't know how to instill morals or ethics without a church.
Right.
And so it was a beautiful transition. And so the parenting, and my husband is so supportive. He never went to church with me because he was like, I've been telling you this for a while. Like, I'm glad you're on board now, And I love him because he allowed me to see it and to learn it on
Yeah.
my own. But yeah, so parenting to me is bringing the angels in, bringing the crystals in, teaching my kids that they can
Mhm.
talk to the angels, that we can do the green energetic healing bubble and walking them through healing their body, and then when they wake up and they feel healthy, and I'm like, remember we did that yesterday? And they're like, oh my god, yeah, wow, that was
Oh,
cool, right?
so
Like that
good.
to me is truly bringing love and kindness and allowing them to feel heard. My son going, I'm like, hey, can I have a hug? And he's like, my body, my choice. I don't feel like hugging today. And I was like,
You're like, damn, but great.
right. So yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
You're like, I raised the most empowered, strong individual, and I want a hug.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I know.
I love it. I love that you bring that forward because you have two children,
Yeah.
right?
2 little
Mhm.
boys. Yes.
So
Yes.
amazing. So
Yes.
amazing. And I
Yes.
think it's so beautiful for them to also see and witness a very powerful mama and a very loving mama and a very in tune, awake, aware of herself, right? Because then you're going to navigate the world in an entirely different way and they're going to witness that, right? Because most of their learning is by watching and observing, And so they get to observe you in your power and in your strength and in your softness and in your sexiness and in all the parts, right? In your empowered self. And I really feel we need more of that on the planet. We need more of that. We need more children who see that, you
Mhm.
know?
That's so
Hmm.
beautiful. Thank you so much. And that was actually a lot of when I brought my business online was a lot of releasing that mom guilt. And, EFT tapping was a huge factor, go in the bathroom and be like, okay, tap out how like I felt like I was a crappy mom because I was devoting time to my business and not being with my kids 24/7, you know?
Right.
And
Hmm.
so it's really learning that they get to see someone fulfilling their purpose and not stopping their life because they're a mom.
Exactly. That's exactly it. I love that you brought that forward. I went through that a little bit too. I remember when Aria was born, and after about a year and a half, I really wanted to go on this business trip. And it was with one of my very first business coaches, and she had this 3-day live event. And because I was in a coaching program with her, it included a ticket. And I really wanted to go. And every time I would tune in spiritually, I kept getting a yes. And my
Mm.
mind was like, no, Arya's only a year and a half. And so I would listen to her. I actually would sit and meditate and bring Arya in her fullness into my awareness as if she was sitting in her, 30-year goddess self in front of me. And I would talk to her and I'd say, okay, baby girl, here's the thing. And I would talk to her about it. And as if I was having a full-on, dialogue with a friend. And the message I kept getting from her was, you need to go. I honor that you need to go. And I'm here. I'm with daddy. It's going to be great. You and I are connected spiritually and energetically. It's going to be okay. And I felt such a release in that guilt feeling. And I remember going live because I think that was about year 1 or 2 that I was doing my plug-in and power ups. And I actually went live and I was bawling my eyes out because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe, like, I believe. And people were like, well, don't go, right? Or people were like, if it hurts that bad, like maybe just go for 4 days or whatever, right? And I'm like, oh my God. It was like so emotionally gripping because that's that point where you want to be of service. You're called to your bigger mission and your purpose. And part of the purpose is being a mama. So it's
Yes.
like that split, right? And I think that what you just touched on is being able to honor, when we honor all parts of ourselves, then we get to experience a whole or a holistic life. And that elevates everything because too, right? If I dishonor one area of my life, that's going to spill into all the other areas as well. And then everything's just going to flop at some point, right?
Oh, 100%. And I just posted about this the other day I always thought it was back long ago when I was in one of my rock bottom moments, and really Ray and I were going through the divorce process and we're separated. And I was like, oh my God, the answer to all my problems is this one relationship. If I can fix this, if I can control this, everything will be okay.
Yeah.
And what I realized after doing the work was that, and continuing, is that it wasn't that one relationship. It was the one relationship with myself that was
Yes.
so crucial. And that is what impacted and had a ripple effect on everything in my life. It wasn't
I
just
love
that
that.
one. Yeah. Mhm.
No, I love that. Continue. I think that's so powerful. What happened from there? Like, as you made that transition, what happened then?
I will never forget that I realized that if I was single for the rest of my life and never had kids, that I would be okay. I'm getting teary-eyed right now, Tara. Oh,
Yeah.
because in that moment, I'll never forget, I was like driving on the north side of Ann Arbor and I was
Mhm.
in my car and I just like felt this awakening and I was like, I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I don't need a man to complete me. I'm already complete. I
Mhm.
don't need children to feel like I'm living my womanly purpose.
Mhm.
And in that moment I felt such freedom and I felt that weight
Yeah.
lifted and I was like, everything's gonna be okay. And
Yeah.
it was just, oh, it was truly, and that's when, soon after that is when we reconciled and we stopped the divorce process 3 weeks before it was finalized.
Are
And
you serious?
that's serious. Yeah, we already did the discovery process. We spent
Yeah.
thousands of dollars on attorneys. We went to court.
Wow.
And yeah, and I also packed up our condo and I dropped all of the physical belongings off to his parents' house because I didn't know where he lived. And my family was just like, Jen, what are you doing? I was like, I want to totally release this. And
Mm.
material objects aren't going to like complete me. Because I was moving in
Mhm.
with them so that I could pay a mortgage payment to a coach.
Mhm.
Right. And so I was like, you guys have a bed I can stay in. I don't need any of it. And they're like, oh my, they're just looking at me. They're like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm energy. I was like, we're all energy. And they're just looking at
Yeah.
me. And I'm just like, look, we just got to drop this off. So, I'll never forget, I got a call from him and we were 3 weeks before finalizing everything. And he goes, I want to stop this. I want to reconcile. We're meant to be together.
Wow.
And minutes later, I received paperwork with him dissolving the divorce process.
Oh
Um,
my gosh. I just
and
got chills again. Whew.
yeah. And what's beautiful though, Tara's,
Yeah.
I actually had a psychic who I sold a car to that I didn't know was a psychic. And I had my wedding ring on when I was selling her this car. And she told me, I was putting the license plate on and she goes, so I'm a psychic and I just want you to know that I know that your husband had an affair, that you're going through a divorce process. And I want you to know that he's going to come back and he's going to ask you for your hand back in marriage.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I'm just sitting there and like, it's like 9 o'clock at night. I'm in a parking lot and I'm like looking at her and she goes, yeah, but when he asks for you back, you're going to have done the work. You're going to feel so solid in who you are that you don't no longer need him. And
Wow.
so it's time to really start thinking about if you actually want him back.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh. So yeah, it was
Oh
just
my gosh. I've
yeah.
got chills everywhere. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
What a powerful transformation for you guys. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's such a gift. I'm really grateful that we got to do that before embarking our building our family and having children. And it
Mhm.
was such a truly, that time in my life that I thought was gonna like crush me really brought me back to life in a way that is just so beautiful. I'm so
Oh
grateful
my
for it. It's one of the
gosh.
greatest gifts. And yeah, it's
Wow. There's so many pieces in there, like being willing to let go, right? To see something in a moment that may not be what we want it to be. It may not be working the way that we want. It takes such courage to let go. It takes conviction to let go. It takes bravery. It takes an open heart. It's not easy to let go of those things. And in the moment that you let go, I love that all of a sudden the growth and the expansion happened for you, happened for him. And then to have the psychic come into the picture, right? Like, isn't that just perfectly divine, right? You know,
Right?
how spirit will
Yeah.
just do that. They'll be like, here, we're going to give you a big billboard and we're going to
Yeah.
tell you, we got to have this happen, you know, like of all the people to buy the car, you know?
And there was so many other customers that like I felt like I was just gonna one day it was one of the hardest days. I was crawling out of my skin. But I went to work, I shut it off and turned on like the finance manager, Jen, in the auto industry. And I'm like, God, just show me that like this work isn't gonna go to waste, right?
Wow.
And this man walked in the dealership. He was not my customer. And he goes, I have this strong pull to give you this rose quartz. I was given this rose quartz 10 years ago when I first got sober from drugs and alcohol.
Are
And he was
you
dead,
serious?
dead serious, Tara. And he goes, and I've been carrying it around in my pocket for 10 years. And for some
What?
reason, I intuitively know that you're meant to have this now and that you need to know how unconditionally loved you are. And I'm just sitting there going like
Oh my gosh.
it's just, and even when like, but that stuff, here's the thing is that I'm not special. This stuff can happen to all of us. Like
Yeah.
every morning I would anchor into my meditation, my vision, and I would become obsessed about what I saw in that instead of being obsessed about the physical. Right. And
Mhm.
so it's not that it's when we ask, we shall receive. And so
Yeah.
when I was like, hey, God, should I bring my business online? And I go on a women's spiritual retreat that weekend, and 5 women come up to me and they're like, you should really go on, do coaching. Like, and five, and I'm just like, we so often ask the questions, but I feel that a lot of us can self-sabotage and not want to
Yeah.
hear
Yeah.
the answers, right? We're more comfortable with the chaos and the struggle.
Mhm.
It's a badge of
Mhm.
honor than we are with the love, the expansion, the connection. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
I love that you brought that forward too, because I feel living in that miraculous way, this is where I feel the whole planet's going. You
Mm.
know, I feel more and more and more people are starting to say, wow, this other way of living the pained life, the struggle life, the drama, the chaos, because that has become an addiction for people too, addicted to the drama and the chaos and the confusion and the things not working. And oh, everything I touch, it doesn't seem to work. Okay, so can we let that go? Like, are you ready to create a new version, a new story, a new way, a new path? And it sounds like your life took that, and it's so amazing now that you get to help other people to do the same, to navigate that transition and that transformation for themselves. Because what you just said about surrendering and allowing, setting your intention on creator and allowing that energy to come through, that's where life does become miraculous. And all the little signposts and the crystals being given to you and the
Yeah.
women at the retreat, right?
Yeah.
Like everything saying, here, do this. Like that's how easy it's supposed to actually be. Here, do this. Oh, here's a great option. You're like, yes, yes. And then all of a sudden life starts to flow in this way that we're like, wow, this is my life. Like, do you have moments like that now, Jen?
Yes, I do.
Hmm.
There's one that stands out the most. And that's when it was where I turned around and I looked up out of my house and I just started crying. And my husband's like,
Mm.
what's going on? What's wrong? And I was like, it happened. And he's like, what do you mean? And I go, when we were separated and I was on the condo room floor with like nothing, and I'm meditating and I'm anchoring in and bringing in that vision. And God sent me this vision of this ranch style home with a pond in the backyard that we can skate in and a barn that our
Oh
boat
my
is housed
gosh.
in. And I forgot about that vision, but I anchored into it deeply for a long time and then I let it go because we let things go when we can trust and surrender and co-create. And
Mm.
then the puzzle pieces, because if we're doing and there's an Excel spreadsheet for everything, there's no room for magic and miracles. There's
Absolutely. I agree with
none.
you.
There's none. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so it was a light bird blue ranch style home. And so we bought our house, it's brown, and my husband was painting it. and he actually painted it dark blue. But was fascinating because he didn't know any of this. And what's fascinating was that when he was power washing and sanding this house, is its original color was light baby blue.
No.
Yes. And
Oh my gosh.
yes. And then also we last winter we're on the pond and it's our neighbor's pond, right? And like we're on the pond and we're ice skating and playing hockey. And I
Oh,
go, oh my God, it's here. Like it's here.
wow.
And, and in that vision was two little boys and my husband, which
Oh
I
my
didn't,
gosh.
right? So I looked outside from the kitchen, and this was another time I got chills. And I looked outside from the kitchen and I saw my husband playing soccer with my two little boys. And I was like, oh my God, that was another thing.
Oh,
And
wow.
in the vision, I want your listeners to know that I didn't see my husband's face or my boy's
Yeah,
face.
I didn't either. Every time I had vision, Jen,
Yeah.
and I would see the whole thing. I would see
Yeah.
children, I would see the location, I'd see the details. I never saw the person's face. I didn't even say, I mean, the Gabriel skin tone. I wouldn't even see the skin tone. Which is
Yeah.
really interesting because like in hearing you say that, it really reinforces something that spirit said to me many years ago when I was on the search for my twin flame. I'm like, okay, I'm moving to California because I was getting all the indication, right? Like, why am I going to California? Why am I going to California? I kept asking that question. I do my cards, and every single time twin flame card would come up. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to California to meet my twin flame. Great. And I'd be looking and looking and looking and searching and open. And it wasn't until I just took a pause from that. I was like, I'm just going to be in an open space of self-love and take care of me and have fun. And that's, obviously when it all starts to happen, right? And I remember when the energy landed, and I've had many deja vu moments since meeting Gabriel, like every month I have one. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's the face. But I remember checking in with spirit about this. And I said, why did I not ever see the face? Like I had many visions and many that all came to pass. They've all come to pass. And what they said to me was, in the human world, in the human mind, you all think in terms of there's the one, like there's this magical one. And they said there's many variations of the one because there's many variations of you. As you grow your life, there are higher levels of yourself and lower levels of yourself and everything in between. And based on what you're conscious of, based on what you're living, based on what you're choosing for yourself, you will attract in a divine partner. You'll attract somebody in. Now, this is why it can change faces, or we don't see the faces, because it depends on who we are in that moment. It depends on what we're embodying. It depends on our choices and what we're choosing, because they said we would never put you on planet Earth with however many billions of people are on it and put a needle in a haystack and say, now go find the one in like billions of people. They're like, we wouldn't do that to you. We would give you many options. And there are many twin flames. There are many divine counterparts. There are many soulmate partners that you could align with. It's really about alignment and choice. And so when those partners come together and there's alignment and choice, then the magic starts to happen and the life starts to unfold. And then all the other things get filled in. And so I love that you said that, because I've heard that from a number of people too. And I've had that experience many times. So it's really cool that you brought that up.
You know what? I love what you just said, because it's so often we think it's the one. And, I have a program that I've taught, the soulmate magnetism program. And so often we think it's the one. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many soulmates out there for
Mm-hmm.
us. Soulmate doesn't mean just one.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different people. And so often when we get so fixated to force, to manipulate, to control,
Mm-hmm.
and to make it happen, we have disconnected from
Yeah.
source. We have disconnected from the divine, and you
Mm-hmm.
cannot Excel spreadsheet your way
Yeah.
into a, a, a co-created beautiful marriage. Like there's
I
no Excel
agree.
spreadsheet that's gonna do that. And you letting go and surrendering is one of the first steps. And that's what I love, is just knowing that when you have the confidence, and the confidence comes from having faith and trusting and
Mm-hmm.
celebrating those little miracles every day that are actually huge miracles. And knowing
Yeah.
that miracles are your birthright. And
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean like only you and I can have miracles. Everybody can have them, but we have to take
That's
our
right.
walls down in front of our heart and
Mhm.
open up and trust.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It is so beautiful. I'm feeling so much love right now. So
Yes.
much love. I'm always very I pick up on the energy of the people that I'm talk to or that I'm around. And since we've been talking, my heart I feel like is just expanded about, oh, I don't know, maybe five room or buildings, it's just like it's so
Ah,
expansive. And that's truly a reflection of you, Jen, and how much you've embodied self-love and compassion and taking care of self and really honoring you and loving self, which is so beautiful again, because I can feel it. And I know the impact that you're having on people and just in them being able to show up as their powerful selves. It's awesome. It's so awesome, the work that you're doing.
ah. Oh, that touches my heart so deeply. Thank you. And I feel the same way. My
Mm.
heart's like expanding. I feel
Mhm.
so energized. And I always tell my clients, I'm like, if you leave a conversation feeling energized, like spirit was there and there was love. And I am just like so excited. My heart feels like it's just bursting with joy and smiling. And I celebrate you. I celebrate us. I knowing you feels so good. And I love that we got to have this beautiful conversation today that can really inspire and serve so many.
Oh, thank you so much, Jen. It's so beautiful. I feel you, sister, 100%. I got this huge, like,
Oh,
radiant smile on my face, and I love that. And I
yeah.
would love for you to share, how can people learn more about you? What have you got going on right now? What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
So yeah, feel free, message me on Facebook or Instagram. And it's at Gen Stoney. Jen, it was with a G as in George. So Gen Stoney, Stoney. And message me. I have a complimentary Facebook group called Unapologetically You. And also I have the Goddess Heart System, which is a 4-week group program that is starting at the beginning of January. And it's really for the woman who's ready to release resentment and step into her full, fun, freedom filled life that truly is all about having fun. If we're not having fun while healing, I feel that we're not doing this work. And so to
Mhm.
me, yes, it's all about the full encompass. I have several other offers, and if if you feel aligned and you feel a connection, please reach out to me and we can see what's the best fit for you in this time. And I am just so excited for 2023. It's about to be just, I can just
I
feel
think
it right
so.
now. Oh, so
Mhm, I
excited.
agree with you. I
Yeah.
love it. And we'll put the links in the show notes as well so that it's really easy for people to find you. And I'm so excited. I love the name of the goddess.
Yes.
That's from the time I was, I don't know, maybe 24, 25. I was living in Toronto. I had left, I was finished university. I moved to Toronto
Mm,
and I started holistic college and I was working full
mm,
time. And all my girlfriends, they knew, like, they didn't even have to see the number. They didn't have, they just knew the message was for me because I'd always start with, "Hey, goddess," all the time, always, and I think it's such a beautiful way to address one another as the divine goddesses that we all are. And so I love that program. I love the name. I
mm.
feel it. It's so beautiful,
I
really
love
beautiful.
that. Thank you so
Mhm.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I'm so
so
excited for
welcome.
it. Yes,
You're
yeah.
so welcome. And thank you for being here, Jen. We love you. Gabriel, like I said, sends his love as well. And I am sending so much radiant light and beauty and continued love and heart expansion for yourself, for your family, for all the people's lives that you are touching and are about to touch, as well as you continue to grow and expand and just continue to live this divine purpose on the planet that's so, oh, so beautiful. Like, I'm just seeing flowers and roses and
Oh,
hearts and expansion in my
oh,
mind's eye. Like, it's so beautiful. So I'm
oh.
really sending you a lot of love. Mhm.
Thank you so, so much. And hello to Gabriel and your little kiddos as well. This has just been so beautiful. And thank you again so much for having me. My cheeks hurt from smiling so much. I, I am just like beaming right now. I always connecting with you always just is so, so beautiful and heart-centered. And I love that. I love that about you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Jen. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I appreciate you all for being here, sending lots of love to everyone. And I can't wait to connect again soon. Thank you so much for joining us today on another episode of the Rising Consciousness Show. For more high vibration conversations, meditations, energy activations, and tips and tools on creating your most exceptional life, we lovingly invite you to connect with us at academyoflight.ca. The website is www.academyoflight.ca. It is time to create your heaven on earth experience, and we look forward to sharing this beautiful journey with you.
You're listening to Rising Consciousness. Yeah.
Woo!
Woo!